Hey, good morning, guys. It is October 7th, and one of my, I would say, I'd say favorite passages of Scripture just because of the profound nature. Um, it's not my favorite because it's a feel-good passage. It's a favorite, one of my favorite passages of Scripture because it's so profound in what it says, and it is 2 Corinthians 5:21, and it says, let me read the NIV. God made him. So God designed, carried out, made him who had no sin to be sin for us. There's so much in this. Every word means something. So God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. You could take that passage and just read it again and again and again and again. And there's so many things that are profound about it. Um, the first of all, I mean, just the fact that God did this. God, the Father, made him who had no sin, his righteous, innocent Son, made him to be sin for us. Yeah, all those, every single part of that is just so heavy. So that in him, so that we in him might become righteousness, the righteousness of God. So crazy, crazy passage of Scripture. When I say that, I mean that in the most respectful, reverent way. Um, so Chambers deals with that passage, talking about reconciliation, and I'll do the summary before I do the reading what Chambers is saying. Basically, he's saying the redemptive work of the cross, what God did through his Son on the cross, was the carried out, completed, finished work of redemption to redeem mankind to himself. That has been completed. That's been done. And then the question is what we as mankind do in response to that finished work. Because the work, sometimes we think that the work of redemption is still being carried out, and it's only being carried out to the extent that we as believers allow that transformation to take place. That's in our own hearts. And so, but the work of redemption was carried out. So it's already been done. Let me read a little bit of Chambers. Sin is a fundamental relationship. It's not a wrongdoing. Sin is a relationship. It is wrong being, deliberate and emphatic independence of God, doing things on our own. I'm going to talk about an analogy here at the end, but um, the independence from God or of God, that's the sinful, that's that what he's calling the heredity. It's that nature that's carried down, that's inherited, that we need to have ripped out of us. Other religions deal with sins. The Bible alone deals with sin, what it is. The revelation of the Bible is not that Jesus Christ took upon himself our fleshly sins, but that he took upon himself the heredity, the very nature, the very substance, the very foundation, the guts of sin. Sorry, I'm adding all those, which no man can touch. He reached down into the foundational kind of, yeah, the way Chambers puts it is heredity of sin. What it is, its being, and that's what he conquered. And down at the end, the Chamber says, a man cannot redeem himself. Redemption is God's bit. It is absolutely finished and complete. Its reference to individual men is a question of their individual action. So, again, what I said in the beginning, which was the finished work on the cross, redeemed mankind to God. He didn't fall short. Jesus didn't fall short because I don't receive his redeeming power over sin. He accomplished everything on the cross, which is a tragedy and a victory all in the same at the same time, because it's a tragedy that my salvation is paid for, that every single person on the face of the earth, their salvation has been paid for, but whether they receive it is up to them. And that's a tragedy. I think about, a distinction. I'm going to read the rest of this. A distinction must always be made between the revelation of redemption and the conscious experience of salvation in a man's life. So, redemption versus my salvation. Redemption is the finished, completed, utmost work. I think about Titanic, and I think about the fact that there weren't enough boats on board for the passengers. But here's the truth of redemption. There are enough boats. There are enough life preservers. The tragedy is that someone would sink into the waters of eternity with a life preserver right next to them and just not reach out and grab it. It's already been paid for. Redemptive work is done. And it's just a matter of whether we receive it or not. So I don't know. It's an interesting, and go back and read 5:21 too, 2 Corinthians 5:21. But it's an interesting take on redemption and what Jesus did on the cross, because it's a good assurance too that his work was final, complete, perfect, and so the work that he did on the cross, the fact that it's not received by some men, has no bearing on the work. The work was complete. It was perfect. So anyway, you guys take that with you through the day. Have a great one.